Hi, I'm Alan. I'm your Honda technician at Shrewsbury Honda Centre, and this is our second video with your daily checks and fluid and anything that wants adjusting, including adjustment of the drive chain. So you come to your bike, and the first thing you want to have a look at is to make sure there's no fluid spilt out underneath the bike, and also checking the tyres, make sure they're not flat at the bottom. An obvious visual check. You could do checking the tyre pressures on a daily check, but not everybody has a tyre pressure gauge. Buy yourself on it and do that. The tyre pressures are located on the side of the swing arm. If they're not on the sticker on the swing arm, they'll be in your owner's manual. A visual check on the tyre tread depths as well. Have a look around and make sure there's nothing in them. Obviously you've got plenty of tread on them. There are preset indicator bars of 1 mil on a tyre tread depth. If you get down to those, which is indicated there and on this worn tyre, there, that means it's illegal and you need to get it changed. Okay, right, so let's have a look at the tyres. We would then have a look at the lights, meters and switches. So turn the ignition on. Some bikes have their lights on when the ignition is on, so if that's the case you need to start the bike up. You run the bike, make sure you've got the high beam and the low beam. You've got your rear light. You also need your number plate light. Front brake light switch, and obviously a rear brake light switch. Okay, that's good. So checking fluid levels. We want to be checking the brake fluid level. Now, the master cylinder has a little window on them, and you have to make sure, even though the bike is level, the master cylinder is level too, because you get an incorrect reading. And also, if the level is low, normally an indication that the brake pads could be low. If you're worried at all about it, you can check, make sure that you have some left reserve, press the lever on, and it's not coming back to the bar, it's holding firm. You shouldn't have any leaks. Have a visual look. But that just means that brake fluid's low, probably we need to replace the brake pads. You can contact us for that. Checking your engine oil. With all fluid levels on a motorcycle, we have what's called service lines, a lower line and an upper line. Just about to show you now what I mean by service lines. That's your lower line and that's your upper line. And as long as it fluctuates between the two, we're happy with that. So on the Honda, you chop the dipstick in, and if you wind it anti-clockwise, that'll just give you an accurate reading off the top of the threads where the oil level needs to be. Okay. If it does require topping up, then you'll need the Motul oil, which we use here. Again, that's in the owner's manual, refer to the correct oil for the motorcycle. This is an air-cooled engine, so there's no liquid coolant. If you have a liquid cooled engine, again, refer to your owner's manual or contact us here. You have an expansion model for the liquid coolant, and again, that will have a service line, a lower line and an upper line. As long as it fluctuates between the two, we're happy with that. Right, we can now go on to checking the adjustment of the chain, and if it requires any adjusting, we can adjust it as well. Right, now we're on to the checking the tension on the chain and adjustment if it's required. Now, to check the tension on the chain, we need to check it and adjust it at the tightest part of the chain. What I mean by the tightest part of the chain is I'm about to show you now. If you pick a point on the bike and watch the chain, as I spin the wheel, watch it rise and fall. And as it rises and falls, it goes from the slackest to the tightest. As it comes to the tightest part there, you just see where I've already pre-marked it. So that's where we take our travel from, and the travel tension is 25 mil on this one. And what I mean by the travel is, I'll show you now. If we add the travel an extra 10 mil to what it says on the swing arm or in the owner's manual, because at the moment this particular model is on its main stand, and it's on its main stand, so the distance between the spindle and the swing arm pivot point is now shortened, so the chain will become slacker. If it was on a paddock stand, it would be under its preloaded condition. What I mean by preloaded condition is you need to check it when the bike is upright, either on a paddock stand or on the two wheels with nobody on it, and that's your tension. So make sure that you get that correct. Right, this is the adjustment. I would say if you've got a straight edge and you don't have a ruler, you lift it up and we would mark it at the top of the chain and then down at the top of the chain. Okay, as you can see there, it indicates at 50 mil. That's much, should be 25, but we're going to add 10 mil. It's going to be 35 because it's on the main stand. Okay, so adjustment of the chain. We need to remember that the rear wheel is held tight by a spindle, a big basically nut and bolt. If you're worried about tension, torque on the nut or the spindle, this is a nice little handy tip. So if you mark the top of the spindle, that adjuster shouldn't really spin, but if it's a washer, be careful, mark the spindle at top dead centre. Okay, and then come around here, mark the spindle again at top dead centre, and mark the lock nut. So what you're hoping to do then, when you free it all off, you're holding the spindle, the bolt, flapping the nut off, lefty loosey, that's it. There we go. Doesn't have to come all the way off. Okay. Then what we have is we have a lock nut holding the adjuster nut. Free that off, then a couple of turns back, and that's your adjuster nut. Same on the other side. There we go. That's your adjuster nut. Now this is very important that we keep the front sprocket in line with the rear sprocket. Otherwise we'll have incorrect wear, the chain could jump off. Very important that you keep it in line. And the way that we keep it in line are the indicators on both sides of the swing arm. They have lines there. Okay, so when we adjust them with the adjuster nut, take the tension of the chain out with your finger, start to adjust clockwise until you feel the chain getting tighter. And we're on the, from the arrow, 1, 2, 3. Lots of bikes have different indicators, but they all have the same lines either side of the swing arm. Keeping the same keeps it in line. On the other side. Right. Before I tighten the spindle up, I'll just give it one check. And do the distance again. So I'll get the top. Hoping that will be nearer 35. This may take you a couple of times to do it. 35, look at that, first go. That was very lucky. Right, okay. So that can be checked again when you tighten the spindle up. Remember keeping the lines on the bolt at the top. Making sure when you're doing that the adjusters don't move. Bring it back up. So you have a line at top dead centre on the bolt, a line at top dead centre on the lock nut. And in reverse, you just make sure that they're moved on the plates, as these are only adjuster plates. And we just lock the lock nut up to the adjuster nut. These adjuster plates are not there to stop the wheel from going forward, they're only there to adjust the chain tension. You don't need to get carried away with over-tightening them. Again, you could mark them as well before you start and bring them back up to just a nice firm feel. One thing we'll do is just check the chain, because sometimes when you pinch the bolt up on the spindle, you can just bring the swing arm just in that little bit into the cush drive, bolt all back up in nicely, and we can lose the adjustment on the chain. So we just remember it's the second mark we used at the top and then at the top of the chain. So we're marking at the top and then the top is perfect. It hasn't altered. So after finally doing the adjustment on the chain and you're happy with it, this particular model, something you have to look for is it has a drum rear brake, not a hydraulic disc brake. The reason I'm bringing this to your attention is it's a rod operated drum brake. What can happen by long wheelbasing it is you can take out the free play in the rear brake, causing the rear brake to be on all the time. So after any adjustment of the rear wheel, just give your wheel a spin, make sure that it's free. If it's binding, you may require, if you've had to adjust it quite a lot, you'll have to back off and have a look, give it more free play. I'll just show you the adjuster on this particular model. It should be nice and free because you've been looking after the bike and lubricating it. And we would do anti-clockwise and that would slacken it off, allowing a bit of free play, and the wheel spins freely. If it was binding, you would slacken it off. If there's too much travel, then obviously you can wind that back on, but don't wind too much on. Always double check. You wouldn't want any damage or any accidents from that. But just move on to what I was talking about, the preloaded condition, the final check of the chain. I've spun the wheel and just check my mark in the middle, the tightest part of the chain. As I say, this is because it's on a main stand. You're having to just check it in its preloaded condition. That's the preload, and that's your tension. There we go. Right. Thank you very much for watching these videos, and we hope to see you all in the shop soon. Stay safe. Thank you.